On today's episode, we are going to take a look at PayPal. They recently reported earnings, and after they reported earnings, they were down about 5%, almost closer to 6%. Right now, we are on election day, and stock prices are actually moving up, and is helping. Everything's moving up in the market right now. So PayPal right now is only down about 2%. On today's episode, we're going to do the following. We're going to first take a look at the earnings recap, see what happened during their earnings. Then we're going to take a quick look at their financial numbers. And finally, I'm going to give my thoughts on overall PayPal. To be pretty much frank right now, I'm pretty excited with companies like PayPal, MasterCard, and Visa. Right now, they have seen some strong pullbacks, and on today we're going to see how great earnings did. Like always, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel out so much. Remember, none of this should be taken as advice, as I am not a professional. And before we go any further, go to the comments below, guys, and let me know, what are your thoughts on PayPal or MasterCard or Visa? Are you buying any of them right now? While you're down there, don't forget to join the Discord channel. You should see the link there. And don't forget to sign up to Webull using that link. If you sign up and follow the rules, we both could get a free stock. And what's better than the free stock? All right, now that we got that out the way, let's get started. All right, like I mentioned, today we are taking a look at PayPal. This is ticker PYPL to all my podcast listeners. Right now, it's sitting at about 185, 186. It's been trending up right now, with the overall market just being up right now, sitting at a market cap of about $218 billion. Year to date, PayPal has returned about 68% to investors, so congratulations to all that have been holding long. And compared to its high of the year, I think it was somewhere around $213, it's down about 13% compared to that all-time high of the year. All right, so let's take a look at the highlights from quarter 3 of 2020. First, we're seeing revenue of $5.46 billion, and this grew 25% compared to same time last year. This also beat expectation by about $50 million. Not that much of a beat. Next, we're going to take a look at GAAP earnings per share. They were 86 cents. And they were up 121% compared to same time last year. And non-GAAP earnings per cent were $1.07, and they were up 41% compared to same time last year. Non-GAAP earnings per share actually beat expectations by about 13 cents. TPV, which is total payment volume, and this is the best type of metric to see how the overall growth or demand of applications like this is doing. So total payment volume was $247 billion, and this was a lot higher than the overall consensus. The overall consensus was about $232 billion. So they beat by about $15 billion in TPV. They added about 15.2 million new active accounts on this quarter compared to 21.3 million the quarter before. This is making them have about 361 million active accounts. That is insane. And there has been a bit of a slowdown compared to last quarter. But remember, last quarter, a lot more people were staying home. So a lot of people were either opening new PayPals, opening new Venmos. So there was a huge growth there. But still, 15.2 million in a quarter. That seems insane. A few highlights. Merchant service volume grew 40% on a spot basis. And $44 billion in total payment volume. That's up 61% compared to the same time last year. So super strong growth for PayPal. One thing I do want to mention is they did mention that their GAAP earnings per share included a net gain of 13 cents on a strategic investment driven primarily by Meli, Mercado Libre. So PayPal recently started becoming one of the payment processors that Meli, Mercado Libre, uses on their e-commerce. And for those that don't know, Meli is the e-commerce, the Amazon type of say, the eBay of Latin America. They're big in Argentina, they're big in Mexico and Brazil. I think those are the 3 biggest markets they're in right now. So PayPal decided to enter them and to partner up with them to kind of expand PayPal Venmo into other sectors, into other countries. So that was a great move, and they're definitely letting you guys know that. So the stock price was down after hours, after earnings, and I do believe the next points I'm about to cover are the reasons why the stock price dropped down. The first thing is for quarter 4, they gave guidance for quarter 4 and for the full year, for the full remaining year. So quarter 4 non-GAAP earnings per share are expected to slow down compared to this quarter. So remember, this quarter non-GAAP earnings per share grew 41%. For the upcoming quarter, they only see 17 to 18% growth. So people are seeing a bit of a slowdown right now. I guess investors were expecting more growth even right now, especially with more shutdowns happening. They were expecting more growth, but I believe maybe PayPal might be being a bit conservative right now. They expect total payment volume growth on percentage basis to be in the low to mid 30s. That's still huge percentage growth. They expect revenue to grow between 20 to 25%. And like I mentioned, they expect non-GAAP earnings per share to grow between 17 to 18% compared to the same time last year. For the full year, they expect total payment volume to grow by approximately 30%. That is insane growth. And they expect their revenue to grow in the range of 20 to 21% at current spot rates. This, to my opinion, are really strong numbers. I guess investors were just expecting much more. Growing your TPV by 30% compared to the same time last year and your revenue by 20 to 21%. This is a high growth stock right now. Now let's take a look at some new stuff that PayPal is doing, and I think this is probably one of the biggest news. PayPal is now allowing crypto buys, hold, and sell features through their PayPal applications. So right now, for all my crypto guys, they are buying they're using right now initial currencies only. They have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and right now it's directly within the PayPal digital wallet. It will be available to PayPal account holders in the United States in the coming weeks, with plans to expand the features to Venmo and selected international markets in the first half of 2021. Another thing they mentioned is in the beginning of early 2021, PayPal customers will be able to use their cryptocurrency holdings as funding source to pay at PayPal's 28 million merchants around the globe. So now PayPal is actually going to make it very easy for someone who's holding crypto to use that cryptocurrency to pay for any of these merchants. So that's actually pretty impressive. In the next slide, they're also have this new feature, which is buy now, pay later installments. And this, they have some offerings right now where you can buy something and pay them in installments of 4. And I believe it has either very low interest or some don't even have any interest rates. And I believe a lot of people right now, with not wanting to put up a lot of money, and especially right now with the holidays coming, this was a great move for them to do it. And they're also already included in many big companies like Best Buy, Dick's, Bed Bath & Beyond, Aldo, BigCommerce, Salesforce Commerce Cloud. So we can see they are moving into some really big online stores with these products. And again, I do believe the moves PayPal is doing right now are very impressive and gets me very bullish, if I may say, in the company. They are also expanding in the Venmo world. They're experiencing with credit cards. You can apply in Venmo app, and then you can use your mobile phone to scan, send payments, split purchases. You also automatically get added your rewards to it on Venmo, so you can use that money directly. And again, I just really am loving how PayPal is doing. All right, so next I wanted to take a look at some charts that they show that are actually, I think, were pretty interesting for those that want to know how the overall market is reacting right now. So there were some, I guess they did some polls, and they showed that 40% of consumers are shopping more online and less in stores. So again, this is driving that e-commerce and anything online right now. And these types of applications like PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, because people are using those platforms to pay for it. 50% of consumers who plan to go back to retail shopping in stores in April have decided they will keep shopping online even after the pandemic is over. So this is definitely going really well for companies like Amazon, like eBay, like Sea and Melly. Then over here, they show that quarter 320, the fastest growing CBT, and that's cross-border trade. So that's kind of international trades categories, are fashion, automobile parts, cosmetics, gaming, and home goods. So these are the markets that are seeing the most amount of growth with the cross-border trades. I obviously understood that we would see gaming, but I'm pretty impressed that we're seeing auto parts and cosmetics and fashion in this market as well. So it kind of gives us an insight of how the market is reacting right now. Next, let's take a look at the financial numbers. But before we go there, you guys should also see a link down below for 7 Investing, where every month they recommend 7 stocks. Right now, we're in the beginning of November, so they just gave their new recommendations. And if you use my link or promo code Jose, Jose, you get $10 off the first month. Again, 7investing.com. May I say this? Yes, this is an affiliate program, but I do use their service and would recommend to anyone. All right, so let's take a look at the balance sheet for PayPal. Right now, quick cash, they have about $14.2 billion. This is up compared to 10.8 they had at the beginning of their fiscal year. We can see total assets are up about $14 billion. If we take a look, total assets here are up about $14 billion. If we see their total liabilities are up about $13 billion. So their total assets are increasing a little bit faster than their total liabilities. One thing we are seeing is their cash increased by about $4 billion, but they also saw an increase in long-term debt of about $4 billion. So right now, I do believe they have a strong balance sheet because look, they have about $14 billion of quick cash and only about $9 billion of total debt. So they have enough cash to pay off their total long-term debt. Another thing I'm liking about PayPal is obviously they are profitable right now, and look at this revenue growth expected for this company, and their earnings are expected to grow at similar levels. So PayPal is one that I would consider a fast growth company. Anything growing over 15%, many consider a fast grower. So PayPal is expected to grow its revenue 16.3% on average annually for the next 3 to 5 years. What was this quarter's revenue growth? I totally forgot. Let's pull back up. Revenue growth this quarter was 25. And remember when I gave you guys the guidance for the year, this guidance, they expect about 20 to 21%. So it kind of matches what analysts are expecting on PayPal right now. Now let's take a look at their revenue growth in the past and the type of margins they're seeing. So revenue growth for the past 4 years have been over 15%. So again, we can see it kind of matches that 16.3% that we're seeing that analysts are expecting in the upcoming quarters. So this past year of 2019 was 15.02. Like we saw, this upcoming year is going to be somewhere around 20%. So this is it's definitely within that limit. And we can see the past 4 years have been about 17.5, 20, and about 16%. Next, we want to take a look at gross margins and profit margins. One thing I am seeing is their gross margins are decreasing a bit, but they're still over 40%. So they declined from as high as high 40s to now mid to low 40s of this year of 2019. Not that bad, especially since profit margins have been pretty much stable. Their profit margins are about 13.8%. So it would have been scary if I was seeing a gross margin decrease as well as a profit margin decrease, but that's not what's happening here. So all good. Everything is looking good in the historical parts of PayPal. Next, I just want to take a quick look at their cash flow statement. As revenue is going up, this is one thing I'm not too much of a fan of. We're seeing random dips here and there of their operating cash flow from operations. And we are seeing a bit of an increase. My only thing that I can say is they're probably spending a lot more money right now on investments and making sure they're really innovating. They don't want to stay still. So I guess they saw that there were so many new competitors now with Cash App and all these other e-payment platforms that they decided to enter new markets, and they decided to use that money in other platforms and continue to run the business like that. But again, that's just something I wanted to mention. They are still very profitable in net cash flow from operations. They have a very strong cash flow, so nothing I would worry about. All right, so now let's take a quick look at my thoughts, and we're going to look at their valuation. But before we go any further, guys, don't forget to check out the merch, Self-Taught Investor. I thought this was the best merch for me since I am a self-taught investor for these past 5, 6, 7 years. So definitely check it out. You should see them under my YouTube channel video, and it helps support the channel a lot. And I'm pretty sure most of you guys are self-taught investors, so why not as well rock it while you guys walk around. All right, so now my thoughts. To my left, I have PayPal right now, and to my right, I have the valuation of MasterCard. But right now, PayPal for December 2021 has a forward PE ratio with this drop of closer to like 39 or 40, where a company like MasterCard is seeing about 35 forward PE ratio. Might be a little bit higher right now with the overall market going up, but not by much. You probably a 0.5. Not even maybe even at most 1 point higher, but we can see they're a little bit priced similarly. PayPal is a little bit heavier right now, but I do believe the reason PayPal is heavier right now is the type of growth that PayPal is expected to see. Look at this revenue growth. This year is expected to be 21.4. The year after this is expected to be 25.5. For MasterCard, it's about 15.2 and it's expected to grow to 18.09. So we can see numerically wise, PayPal is expected to grow a lot stronger. So I do believe PayPal right now, and to me, if I'm gonna be honest, PayPal, MasterCard, and Visa are ones I'm really liking right now for the overall market, the e-payment, not only because of the COVID situation, but the overall, I think this was the trend that the overall market was heading to. So these are three companies I'm enjoying right now. We saw a great earnings with PayPal, right? They have strong growth. They're being very aggressive with the types of products they're releasing right now to try to grab more attention from their crypto to their pay now, to buy now, pay later, and all these other, the credit cards with Venmo, the recent acquisition with Honey. They have a very strong balance sheet. They're seeing strong new net active accounts growth, very strong balance sheets, and a strong cash flow right now. So PayPal is definitely one I'm really liking. One of the biggest risks right now for me for PayPal is just because of this overall hype and the overall need that people believe PayPal is a must stock to own during this COVID situation. It could probably have extended the stock price. But for me, I'm a dollar cost average investor where I buy every week. So that doesn't really affect me too much. Some weeks I might buy high, some weeks I might buy low. And I do believe maybe right now is definitely a kind of buying low. So I am liking PayPal right now, and I would gladly add it to my positions and will continue to add to my position. So let me know in the comments, what are some of your thoughts on PayPal? Are you liking? Are you not? Are you waiting for something else? So let me know. Take care, guys. Have a good day and see you next time.